We got our documents on Monday. Ray literally left clinic, came home. We signed the documents together, jet set it to the notary public, notarized the document, went to FedEx, put everything in a box and mailed it back. And the next day it was signed. The property was ours. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. My name is Annette. I upload videos once or twice a week covering a wide variety of topics. And today I will be talking about the craziness of the housing market, how to buy a house, what we did when we bought our house, and just basically giving you tips and strategies and just basically, overviewing the entire process. So grab a cup of water or a glass of wine or a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and let's get started. So as you can see, I'm in my new home. This is the dining area. There is no dining. Right now we don't have a dining table yet. There's a TV right there. We have just space right now, but we are going to fill it up. But I bought a home. I've talked about it in my previous vlogs. We moved from New York to Ohio. We moved like in July. So we bought the house in June, right when the housing market was crazy. As you know, this has been a seller's market for the longest since the pandemic. A lot of people have been moving to like suburban areas, more to the countryside, away from the city. And many people realize that working from home is like the future. Remote work is the future. There's no need for us to be at the office 24/7. I've actually been saying this for a long time, but no one's kind of like taking me serious, I think. But yeah, this is a seller's market because a lot of people have just been selling their homes. I even know some people who sold their homes and moved in with their family members or their grandparents just so they could capitalize on that market. People are making a profit of at least $200,000 to $300,000 selling their homes. So what does that mean for you as a buyer? If you're a millennial like me and you're starting to buy your first property and you don't know what to do and how to go about the process, well, this video is for you. So I'll just give you a little overview and maybe you can take some lessons from what we did. We of course did our research, right? But the first thing you need to do is get your credit in check. So we knew we were going to buy a home. So for the past year, we've been making sure our credit was good. We paid off our car. We asked for increased credit lines in our credit cards so we could just have more available credit in our history. And we did all of that, and that worked in our favor because our credit score went at least 50 points in the past year. So that's the first thing you need to do. Our credit was okay, so that's good. So we were able to quickly get a pre-approved letter. So that's the second thing we did, which brings me to number 2. Be sure to get a pre-approval letter before you start looking. Because as a seller, sellers don't want to deal with looky-loos who just want to look for the sake of looking. They want to deal with serious people. And if you've gone to your bank or credit union and acquired a pre-approval letter, then they know that, okay, like at least 30% of the process is done because you're serious. A bank is behind you. A bank knows that they want to invest in you and they want to move things going. So basically do that. We did that. And then 3, find a bad ass realtor. Don't do it yourself. Don't go to Zillow. Don't go to Facebook. I mean, you can go to Zillow and you can go to realtor.com. No shade, and you can look. But find a real estate agent who knows the area because they're going to know what you like and they're going to know what the seller likes. And they're also going to know background information about the seller's agent, about the neighborhood, about the school district, things like that. That really comes in handy. We had a real estate agent who actually works for the hospital that recruited my husband, and she knows the area. She lived in the area. Her grandparents lived in the area. She knew the agent, and she told us this particular seller, her MO is to list houses like below market and then have people bid on it competitively. I wouldn't have known that. So I would have walked in saying, oh, this house is listed for X amount of dollars. So now I'm going to, put in a bid at that amount. So being that we really like this house and we saw the house, my husband came down to look. I was in New York with the kids and we were FaceTime and I was like, I like this house. I really like this house. Then she told us, if you want to get this house, this is what a seller's agent typically does. Go ahead and put above asking. That way you're going to outbid everybody and the house can be yours. So you need a real estate agent that knows the area, so much so that he or she also knows the agents, the seller's agents, so that way you can get a lot of background information. Be sure, be ready, willing, and able to go above and beyond. If you come to a house and this house is listed, let's say $400,000, and you're like, I'm going to come in and give an offer of $350 because I want to bargain. No, this is not a settlement negotiation. And I had to learn that the hard way because in the legal profession, when you're offering to settle a case, if you're defense side, you give it a low ball offer. If you're plaintiff side, you give an extortionate demand, and then you guys work your way together. In real estate, you have to be serious, and you have to come in with a serious offer if you want to buy a house. So we came in with an offer with the information that our agent told us about the seller's agent. We came in with an offer above asking. That way, everybody else was automatically behind us and beneath us, because that then put our offer front and center in front of the seller, and they were like, oh, okay, great, this is good. Now, next thing you need to do is be ready to make concessions. So if you really like the house and you really want to make sure the house is what you agree on, and where you're going to spend the rest of your life with your family or your starter home or whatever, even if it's an investment property, be sure to be ready to make concessions. This may mean by way of, oh, okay, are you going to waive inspections? Are you going to go for a 10-day close, 30-day close, or a 15-day close? Basically, things that the seller will find attractive, and you may actually not feel like doing it at that time, but if you really want the house, then you may have to do it. And other things can be done, like you can put money down towards closing. You can offer to pay about $5,000 to be directed at the seller's closing cost, things like that. You can also put earnest money down. That way they know you're serious, and then they know that you're ready to get this going and get this thing moving. So these are just ways you can go around, making concessions that will benefit you and push basically everybody behind you and put you front and center of your seller. That way you get the property you desire, and you outbid all the people out there who are trying to get your property. Of course, have some money down. Have some money down towards a down payment for your house. If you don't have at least, I would say 30 to 40%, then speak with a credit union or speak with your mortgage company and see if there's anything they can offer you. That way you can know that you're able to put the money down, and you're able to come up with a pretty sweet deal and pretty sweet package and give it to the buyer. That way the buyer is like, okay, fine. This person is not just putting like $3,000 down or $6,000 down. I know somebody who put $4,000 down. That was in the pre-COVID market. It's not going to happen now. Ever. Like, no one's looking at you. It's not. So basically make sure you have that part taken care of. Another area you probably really need to focus on while you're looking for a house is seek legal help. If you know anyone who's an attorney, there are lots of documents that you may need to sign. You may not understand, some clauses that are in the document. So speak with an attorney. They can tell you the difference between tenants in common and joint tenants with rights of survivorship. Things like that are important to put in your mortgage documents and to ensure that things are legally succinct. You don't need to get an attorney on retainer, but at least try to find one who you can ask and with whom you can consult about things like that. Have a vision for your home. And even if you haven't moved in yet, but basically sellers also want to know that the person who they're moving in is a family-oriented person or is a single person. They want to know what your vision is. They want to know how you want to treat the house, how you're going to take care of the house. For example, my neighbor here basically renovated his house into some sort of like upscale bachelor pad. It was a 3-bedroom house before. He converted it to a 2-bedroom and a man cave, and he wanted a guy who basically was going to treat it like a man cave and like a man haven. And the guy who, my neighbor, I call him Johnny Bravo. Really, he's all buff. He drives a truck. He has like a beard and he has tattoos. Exactly the person my previous neighbor wanted to be in the house. So let your vision, be known. Let what you're trying to do with the house, let that be known to the seller. And you can do this subtly, through the real estate agent. That way, if it's a match, it's a match. And if it's not a match, then you're not forcing something. You don't want to buy a house where you feel like the owners want you to take care of the plants and they're huge gardeners, and you come and you're like, no, I don't have a green thumb, I don't want this. Well, they're not going to want that because they spent years tendering to their backyard, and they want someone who's going to come in and continue that work. So create your vision and make sure you stick by it. On closing day, be available. Be available with your phone, because you're going to deal with a title company. You're going to deal with a mortgage company. You're probably going to deal with a real estate agent. You shouldn't really deal with the seller directly, but just have your phone on you. Be available that day. If your closing is not in person because of COVID, then what's probably going to happen is they're going to mail you the documents, and then overnight, once you receive the documents, you're going to sign them and then go in front of notary and sign some more. So make sure you have the time available to do all of that, because there's usually a fast turnaround. We got our documents on Monday. Ray literally left clinic, came home. We signed the documents together, jet set it to the notary public, notarized the documents in front of the notary, went to FedEx, put everything in the box and mailed it back. And the next day it was signed. The property was ours. So Closing days, especially when you're not there, can be very rough, but you need to make sure you have your phone available. You need to also pay attention to details. Pay attention to details in the mortgage document when speaking with your lenders, because remember, they do this every day and they're more likely to make mistakes because it's just normal to them. But this is a huge event for you. This is the first time you're buying a home as a millennial. This is something that you're going to call a home for a very long time. This is a huge investment, and any mistake that they make, that they put in a document, was going to affect you. And if you didn't catch it, oh well, you signed it and you're going to be on the hook for it. So go extra hard and make sure that you review the documents, and if you have any questions, call them. Make sure you're calling them and make sure you're speaking with them, because this whole process is so crazy. It goes by so fast, and they do it all the time, and they're likely to make mistakes. And if they overlook something and you don't pick it up, then you're going to be, stuck with it, and that could eventually basically cause problems for you down the line. So another bonus tip is also put money aside for extra costs that may come with closing. For example, inspection costs. If you don't waive inspection, you may have to get the house inspected. There may be some costs associated with the title. There's also title insurance, and then there's homeowner's mortgage you may want to get, and they may need that because they may need your declaration page from that before you write up the mortgage. So you probably need to get a policy for that, and for you to get a policy, you need to pay premium. So basically, don't just focus exclusively on the down payment, but also put like at least 2 to 3% of the total mortgage cost aside, because you're going to use that to pay, closing costs, title agency costs, the premium from a homeowner's mortgage, insurance, inspection costs, and a whole bunch of unforeseen costs that you may not even anticipate, but you want to have that cash ready and available. And then moving, of course, that comes with its own craziness, right? So basically, those are the tips that I have for you. 10 tips to make sure you can basically go through the home buying process in this crazy, crazy market. As you know, it's a seller's market. People are saying that the bubble's going to burst, but the prices are still elevated. People are not letting up, and people are just buying houses, flipping houses. Actually, down by me, it's crazy. This lady renovated her house, and her house is fine. Everything's good. And then 2 streets over, there's another house on sale, and she just put in an offer, like, randomly. She's like, okay, I'll just see, let's see. And that offer got accepted. So now, and being that it's a legal document, she has to now move from her previous home, which she's now selling at an elevated price, and it's increasing the property value for my house, is increasing the property value for the neighborhood. But yeah, just on the floor. So the market is crazy. There's also someone I heard of at some point owns the house in front of him and 2 other houses down the block, because they just put in offers in those homes, knowing fully well that those offers are going to get accepted. They're going to do some renovation and then flip it and sell it, like, with a significant profit. So pay attention to the market. The market is also super duper duper crazy, and if you follow these tips, then you should be poised to be able to beast through your home buying process and make sure you're able to secure your dream house. Again, I'm not a real estate agent, although within my legal license, I can apply for a broker's license and not even have to take any exam, not have to do any real estate work. But it's not something I'm going to do right now. I do think about it. I do love my real estate shows. I love selling Sunset, selling Tampa, selling OC. I love $1 Million Listing and all of that. But I'm true to my legal career. So all that to say, I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not giving you advice. And there's no contractual relationship between me and you. Obviously, I am just sharing my thoughts, sharing my opinions, and sharing with you what worked for me. So I hope you guys find this video really helpful. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and check out my old videos and let me know your thoughts on this. If you're buying a house or you're thinking of buying a house and how the process went for you, let me know, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.